Hello viewers, you are watching our weekly program Invest in Ethiopia on OBN Horn of Africa. Today we are going to discuss about investment relations between Ethiopia and Pakistan. My guest today is Ambassador of Ethiopia to Pakistan, Ambassador Jamal Bakr. Stay tuned up to the end of our program. A warm welcome to our program, Ambassador.
Thank you, Fukadu, for having me on this beautiful program.
Okay, let me begin with the relation between Ethiopia and Pakistan. Would you tell us about it a little bit?
Thank you, gentlemen. I think Ethiopia and Pakistan have established diplomatic relation in 1958. Especially in 1972, the then president of Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, visited Ethiopia and met with the then King Haile Selassie, and they have discussed. So Pakistan has opened its embassy in Ethiopia in 1973. Since then, we have a good diplomatic relation, but the relationship is not up to the potential of the two countries. But after the reform has been injected in our country, our Prime Minister has met with the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the then Prime Minister Imran Khan. They have discussed on a potential how to strengthen and take the diplomatic relation to the high level. So our Prime Minister has ordered since then to look into and trying to come up with assessments, researches. So he has under his guidance, this embassy has been established in 2022. So I was nominated ambassador, the first Ethiopian ambassador to Pakistan. And I was trying to lay foundation for, this Ethiopian embassy. Since I came, it is 1 year. I celebrated just 1 year in last month's 29. So it is. It has got a lifespan of 1 year here in Pakistan.
Okay, that's good. What is the role of Ethiopian embassies in promoting the investment opportunities of the nation, and what you have been doing in this regard?
Look, Fikadu, the main, Ethiopia's foreign policy is primarily focused on economic diplomacy. So, especially for our country, after reform has been taking place, Ethiopia has identified as a core, driving force for our foreign policies and engagement with the rest of the globe. So it is economic diplomacy that drives our foreign policies. That means we have got a clear policy. We know what we're looking for. We identify our potentials. Ethiopia is agricultural, industry, service. So this how we can get, technologies that our agricultural, required, industries that our country requires, especially, that can create jobs and technology transfer. So based on the, our competitive advantage. So with this understanding, we do our foreign policies primarily on economic diplomacy. Coming back to our embassy, since our establishment, we have, when I was a state minister, there is a saying, latecomer advantage to technology. So I took a latecomer advantage to diplomacy as a very diplomat working in this sphere. I know our, interest in economic diplomacy. I know primarily focused on how to bring change and get, potential investors back to Ethiopia. As you remember, Fikadu, last year in March, I brought close to 80 business delegations. How we achieve this is very magical. One thing, we have got, Ethiopia is very now, and if we properly promote Ethiopia's comparative advantage in investments and the incentive package reforms that are undergoing. So the people, they believe us, they never know Ethiopia. Previously, when I come to this country, they look into Ethiopia, they said it is, they have got the previous, stereotype, which is, I specify Ethiopia as a famine and, drought and, like backward country. But when we try to explain the contemporary new horizon of Ethiopia, they have understood. And they were also very fall in love with Ethiopia, and they visit, close to 80 they visit. And we have a 1 week stay in Ethiopia where we have seen also, the new, projects that our visionary leaders, Prime Minister has put. We have visited Ethiopian Unity Park. We visited also Industrial Park. We had also a good discussion with Shaggar, city mayor and the team. So we identified the first thing is we had a good discussion with our Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, led the forum, which is tied to explain what Ethiopia's potential, especially on the agricultural areas, in manufacturing areas, in chemical industries, in fertilizers, in many sectors that is available. So energy, Ethiopia's comparative advantage, we identified they are very happy, and we can say Ethiopia has more than 80 ambassadors in this country. They have been seen, they have enjoyed Ethiopia, and they come back with a clear what Ethiopia's contemporary Ethiopia can offer them.
Sure. Okay. As you know, Ethiopia is working by designing a homegrown economic reform to ensure its economic development. What is the main goal of these reforms, and what is its role in attracting investment to the country?
Look, for any country, especially for Ethiopia, who are very ambitious, and also practically since our prime minister came into power, he was promoting, Ethiopia to become a top, influential in Africa. At least, this is a clear vision. We know where we are heading. So in that sense, we need to transform our economy. So unless, you have a strong economy, you cannot have a strong military, you cannot have a strong, diplomatic influence. So the economic reform, homegrown economic reform, first try to address the structural problem of our economy, especially the productivity side, as you know. So what is a very important issue that keep our economy not to produce appropriate, productivities. If you see agricultural, so what agricultural technologies that required and what technologies. So as you know, during the reform, close to 500, more than 500, tax freeze has been given to agriculture. So you can see we start, producing, as you know, this year, we start exporting wheat to Kenya and Djibouti. This is a breakthrough for Ethiopia. So this is one area that the reform has addressed us, increasing productivity in agriculture. The same is true in the industry also. As you know, most of the industries previously put in place, and now this reform has tried to see what challenges they are encountering, and a kind of, injecting all those, addressing the structural problem that faces our country. The second is a structural problem of, stabilizing microeconomy. For any country, investors cannot come if you don't have a stable economy. Microeconomy, that will address, basically the exchange rate, as you know, and once you increase your productivities and trying to sell, all those products to the abroad, then your microeconomic stability will come then. So this addressing the micro, stability is another issue. The third issue is economy, the energy sector and logistics. Energy is a key driving force for any industrialization. For our country, we're working to become a #1 manufacturing hub in Africa due to our comparative advantage. #1, we have a clean, green energy that manages almost our 97% of our energy come from clean energy, which means this is very sustainable. So that in a way that, we're trying to connect this energy with the rest of, our neighboring country. Energy grid, connecting Ethiopia with energy. We are, as you know, Fukadu, we are exporting energy to Kenya, Djibouti, Sudan, and many others are under requesting. So this connecting, the integrating through energy grid, it is one issue that the reform is addressing. The fourth point is basically is trying to create reforms in a way that addresses a structural problem of incentive package. So legal issues that is around, that has already become a net bottleneck, and also investors are looking for, their property security. So addressing the property security of those investors through incentive reforming and legally ensuring that their property have got safety and security. So I think the reform have addressed that. Is why, the investors, when they went and they were amazed by the reform undergoing and the outcome they have seen by their naked eyes.
Well, what are investment opportunities and platforms in Ethiopia especially to attract foreign direct investment. What is your comment on this?
Look, Ethiopia, always for any country, you focus on what is, comparative advantage Ethiopia has, number one. Ethiopia, as you know, it is agriculture and agroeconomy. Our 80% around that comes from that. Ethiopia's land, 26% is only, out of, percent has been used. Agriculturally, we have got a vast land and never, we never cultivate. So as you know, our, Prime Minister has introduced in this, expansion of agricultural in lowland areas by establishing institutions, ministry for that undertaking this issue. So this will identify basically, number one, how we can use technologies to expand water-based. So we need to, from rain-fed to irrigation, number one. So we need to improve that one. So we have a vast land, especially geographical proximity of Ethiopia to the Middle East, Europe, and Asia. Anything produced in this area, if it can be within a short flight, you can reach a billions of population. So this geographical equation also gives an opportunity for the investment, for agricultural, for manufacturing, all those. So agriculture is one of the most important things that we can try to promote in agro processing. So from the agricultural, they convert into agro processing, like changing it by adding a little bit technology, then they can export those products. The second area is manufacturing areas. As you know, Ethiopia's huge capabilities in this area. As you can see, we have a cheap energy, number one. Why we want to bring manufacturing, industrialization. So what requires this, number one, is energy. Ethiopia's energy is $0.03, which you can see, it's the cheapest energy on the earth. Again, clean, again, green. So we're working, our Prime Minister also, a champion of green legacy in a way that environmental landscape sustainability for our countries is been championing. We have started also in green legacy in Pakistan. So this is one area that can completely transform in a way that sustainable energy from hydro and thermal, so and geothermal, wind, solar. So these are, our clean energy that we focus. So we have a comparative advantage of that one. The second is, skilled labor can available in, comparative price. So Ethiopia's, as you know, we have 46 universities of the government, and the TVET, which is very huge, producing millions of skilled labor into the market every year. So this, the Ministry of Labor and Skill currently working on providing the necessary, skills for industry. So they will train and also try to be also economy comparative. So we are producing that one. So they can, any, foreign direct investment, when you come into, they look for a skilled, trained labor. So that is available. The third point is intensive package. The government has, as reform has undergone, the reform has completely tried to address the incentive package of the country. So in a way that all those who invest is in the priority area of the government, so they will get, tax holiday and the free import of their, inputs also. So that incentivizes them also. That is the third point. The fourth point is, the government supportive. Government, last time what we have seen, starting from our Prime Minister, our Deputy Prime Minister, all of them, they have met our delegation. That they have said, oh, this is very amazing country. And where they have been introduced, given them, discussed, connect. So our open policies to welcome, and that has encouraged also them, which incentivize them most. So especially Ethiopia can, invest in tourism also. The other part is tourism we have identified. So 5 sectors, agriculture, mining, tourism, technology. These are the 5 identified areas where we are promoting, above all, Ethiopia's comparative advantage, geographical locations, And it is, historically, basically, if you see, Ethiopia has never been colonized, and we have got all treatment for any foreigners who come to us. So that are the opportunities exist, and the incentive package surrounding the investment opportunities in this regard.
Interesting. Another issue is the country has been also constructing various huge industrial parks across the nation. How do you see the importance of these industrial parks in attracting both foreign and domestic investors to the country?
Look, Fukado, one thing is very clear. Any countries, we have tried to develop our homegrown reformers in a way that it addresses the structural problem of Ethiopia. One thing, industrialization, no country has been developed without industrializations. Whatever we have, we can produce agricultural product to feed ourselves, but to get advantage and also with the skilled labor that you had, industrialization is a key top areas of the government. So for industrialization to expand, government has to do in a way that based on the ecologies, proximities, and the geographical location of that area. So we have developed, a lot of industrial zone, which is based on the experience of other countries like China, Singapore, and many other countries who have developed and escaped poverty within a short period of time. So industrialization is very important. So industrial park, which is special industrial zones, which includes, transforming the people around that area. If we see the industrial areas of, Lemmi and others also was, already operational in, down Awasa. So those industrial, how much they, create job opportunity for our citizens, number one. So it will create a huge job for our, workforce who is graduating from universities, who are seeking jobs, number one. So it will accommodate a lot of skilled, laborers in that regard. Second, also, for, people who have idea. Look, innovation and technology minister, basically there are, especially I remember gift and talented school of our brainchild of our prime minister that, try to, cultivate intellectuals who have got ideas, who can change their ideas into technology so that they can be supported and go through, aligning with other investment so they can become directly invest in that regard. So that is one aspect that we can, focus on. So this is the second issue. The third industrial, importance is the investors bring his, investment, the technologies. Already infrastructure is built. He will not take long time. So he bring only machinery. If say pharmaceutical, so it is pharmaceutical industrial zone, he bring his technology. He start assembling and producing. So it will reduce the hiccups. The fourth point is one-shop service. Every service they need, be it export, import, and also, bank services, all of them are in one place so that it will investment-friendly ecosystem for a country. So that is especially, when during our delegation, when during in Ethiopia, we have visited all the industrial area too, in that areas, there was amazed. A lot of, companies from all over the world was based in there. And also our, investors from Pakistan, they're looking to invest in this aspect as well.
Good. The government of Ethiopia has set clear power generation and connection targets and sees the private sector as pivotal in meeting the intended goal. What you have been doing in promoting this issue to the world as Ethiopian embassies in Pakistan?
Yes, for your surprise, Fakadu, energy was a headache in this country, especially. The most expensive matter in this country is energy. And there was, I was hearing before 2-3 days, there are, the energy due to, the previous, subsidy has been removed and it is now high, skyrocketing price. that price basically for us, it is, like for Ethiopia, as I said at the beginning, it is 0.03, dollar, which is very cheap. So Ethiopia, it can be a huge investment opportunity, one to generate in their own and sell to Ethiopia's grid, and also generate for themselves and use for their manufacturing. So it is a huge opportunity in this regard. We have a lot of energy generating activities. Hydro is one of those. Hydro is, Ethiopia has got a lot of rivers, a lot of geographical advantage that can generate a huge energy in this aspect. The second is wind also. Wind, where we have already Adama, Aisha in that down there. So we have a huge energy opportunity for generating so that it can. Solar, Ethiopia is 30 sunshine mine, 30 months sunshine. So it is, you can generate from the solar, all of it. So looking into this and the energy grid connectivity also, Ethiopia's, especially since reform integration with our neighboring countries, connecting through intergrid so that it can be also a huge opportunity for investment. So the lucrative incentive available in this sector will incentivize also the foreign direct investment. We're trying to promote and the green and also clean sustainable energy approach, which is the timely of 21st century demand.
Well, the Ethiopian Airlines has launched its direct flight to Kamachi this year after you have appointed to Pakistan. What is its role in facilitating the investment opportunities between the two nations?
Look, Fukado, the most important thing is Ethiopian Airlines is a flag, carrier airlines. It is a government-owned entity, but it operates on its own, to take advantage that is in connecting global. So as, recently, any country, if you look, connectivity is the most important thing. Ethiopia is working to become a hub for East Africa and Africa as well. And we have seen the huge passenger traffics going through Ethiopia. It means, we have changed also our policy, mostly if you see, as a diplomatic center, third diplomatic center in the world, New York, Brussels, then Addis Ababa. So we need to have to be people-friendly policies for visa, entry into the countries. Also, we should not compromise our security in that regard. So now, our Prime Minister has launched, when it comes, so we need to give visa on arrival and also electronic. So Ethiopia's visa is now digitalized. It is easy accessible. So that is a free movement of people and also encouraging on the other side, tourism. So bringing Ethiopian Airlines to Karachi, it means threefold. One, it will connect directly, Pakistan and Ethiopia and connects Pakistan with the rest of Africa. Ethiopian Airlines has got 68, destination in Africa. So it can be considered as airlines that connects Pakistan with the rest of Africa and Ethiopia. Number one. The second, is also it increases economic activities. One way is business. So Ethiopian Airlines are now, we're discussing with the concerned to bring cargoes. So these Ethiopian products that can come to this country, also the product that can go from here. So it will increase the two countries' trade volume and the economic cooperation in the second part. The third point is tourism. Tourists are going from Pakistan. Pakistan is a tourist emanating country, actually, for your information. A lot of tourists goes to Europe. I was telling to them, Ethiopia is on a big, now, especially as a land of Bilal Habashi and King Najashi, we call it. So these are historic ties to them. And every Pakistan, now after they had these islands, I was hearing a lot of them, they go for, while they are transiting, they stay in Ethiopia. A lot of traffics are increasing now, which is very good initiative in that regard. So this will expand Ethiopia's focus area. One of the investment sector is tourism in that aspect. So increasing this tourism, it will contribute also for our economic well-being. So The fourth point is it increases people-to-people interaction. Nowadays, I was seeing a lot of Pakistani officials, people going to all over the world. So they use Ethiopian Airlines, and they also stay one day in Ethiopia, which is due to the ease of visa access. And so that will increase also our, promotion of our country's historic and also different opportunities that exist. So Ethiopian Airlines is an instrument for achieving our foreign policy as well. So that is why in most cases where our, even other diplomat is not available, Ethiopian Airlines can work in co-sharing with the Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs to advance our national interest.
Well, as you have mentioned, Pakistani investors have visited Ethiopia and showed their interests to invest in various fields. Have they started the process to their practical work?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. This is a big assignment. We have created a good, mobilization, and around 80 business has visited March, in March. Yeah. They have stayed in Ethiopia for 1 week, and they have seen the investment opportunity. Look, Fikadu, decision-making for investment is very challenging. It is time-taking. We need to know. So the first, they have gathered all of the information, physically also going to and trying to, assess the political landscapes, the economy, the people, everybody. When you go into new areas, it will take time. Now they are in, the time of, analyzing, trying to develop, and also there are joint ventures. They have already in contact with Ethiopia's counterpart to establish. So during the visit, we have signed 3 MOUs. One is to establish industrial park of Pakistani in the country, and that has been taking shape. So it will have a lot of, like chemical, steel, textile. So it is a industrial zone for Pakistan, which was trying to include a lot of companies in it. The second is a chemical company which was interested in to invest in Ethiopia, especially one of the top biggest in the globe, a chemical, Setara Group was there with us. They are looking into the matters and other also chemicals. So without chemical manufacturing is not possible. So any, products that we produce, we need chemical packaging and others. So they are also very interested in trying to set those kind of, industries in the country. So above all, now we have a close follow-up with those all who visited Ethiopia. We have a joint information sharing platform where we extend all the time and follow up with them. So I'm closely following, inshallah, in the near future. There is likely that they go into investment in the different sector.
Well, Ambassador, as you know, there are many Ethiopians living in different countries abroad. Do you have a platform where you discuss the promotion of investment activities of the nation to other countries?
I think diaspora engagement is one of the key pillar, especially as our Prime Minister, when he came, he toured all around the world. He met with Ethiopian, he encouraged them, he told them, he laid foundation, he informed them the new horizon of Ethiopia, what's expected of them. And he basically when he come them also in a way that Ethiopia's national all over the world, their security, their safety has been ensured. So we are working on that, number one. Second is also during the very difficult time, all diasporan all across the globe, they stand for defending Ethiopia's nationality, sovereignty, territorial integrity. This is one thing that we believe in. Diasporas all over the world, they have one country, which is Ethiopia. So they are also taking part in the democratizations, peace and securities, economy, and trade also for that. So diaspora's engagement is a pillar for our foreign policy as well. So we outreach them. So we give them a comparative advantage that is available. Ethiopia provides them. So they have a green, card, yellow card. So they have yellow card that can give them access. So except voting, everything is possible for them like a citizen. This is a basic, issue. So they can come and invest with the little knowledge, skill they gain, capital they have. So they can be by themselves or in a group, they can invest into Ethiopia opportunity, all sector. So that is one opportunity we're trying to encourage all diasporas. So we have a platform everywhere. Even yesterday I was, although the diasporas are not big here, but all over the world, all Ethiopian embassies, they have got all, connections, network established in a different part of the globe. They discuss on matters related current issues, especially the current issue that we are in, and also their role and the investment at the end of the day in a way that they can build and take advantage of the opportunities that in Ethiopia. So those platforms regularly they meet, we discuss and brief them and encourage them also to bring in joint venture with other citizens they can move into. So there are a lot of investment that has been done by diaspora. We like to encourage them. This is a good opportunity for them and for the country as well.
Finally, if you have anything to add, you are welcome.
Thank you, Fukado, for giving me this opportunity. First of all, thank you for outreach. We are celebrating, 1 year anniversary of Ethiopia's embassy here in Pakistan. And I'm very glad that you have outreached me. Before yesterday also, I have received as award, which is National Peace and Justice Council has given me as one of the national peace recognition, which is a big to my country and myself as well. And thank you very much. So this it means Ethiopia we have got a big country on our hand. If we work properly, if we do deliver, and then try to inform, we'll have strategic partners who can defend Ethiopia, who can also stand by the side of Ethiopia. If we look in Pakistan, before we come, we don't know each other. When we come, during the very politically motivated sanction, Pakistan has opposed and say Ethiopia can resolve its matter alone. So that is one thing, partnership we are moving. So Ethiopia is now back on the stage and we are anchor of peace in the Horn of Africa. We are contributing also before yesterday. We have been participating on, United Nations peacekeeping preparatory meeting here. Everybody recognizes Ethiopia as a founding father of many different, United Nations, starting from League of Nations, United Nations, all the way. And, last week we have also been joined BRICS. And this is a recognition of Ethiopia's bilateral and multilateral engagement. And we have got a big country on our hand. Let us focus on building and leaving our difference. If we have any difference, let us resolve our differences, dialogue, discussion, and understanding. Let's build Ethiopia that can, look all Ethiopians. And let us stand for peace and security of our country. May Ethiopia, prosper. Thank you very much, Fukado.
Thank you, Ambassador, for your time and your deep insight on our program. Thank you and have a good time.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay. Dear viewers, that brings us to the end of our today's program. Till the next session, have a good time.